So, what if the most famous band in history could just be forgotten? I mean, it sounds impossible, right? The Beatles practically rewrote the rulebook on music and culture. But what if their legacy isn't quite as permanent as we all assume? Could the Beatles actually fade away? I know, it seems completely absurd, but this isn't some hot take from a cultural critic. This concern is being raised by someone at the very center of their world. And the person voicing this concern? It's Ono Lennon. And he believes the threat is very, very real. It's rooted not in the quality of the music, but in the just relentless pace of the world we're all living in now. So, how in the world does the son of John Lennon and Yoko Ono come to believe this supposedly unforgettable legacy might just be, well, forgettable? It's a pretty surprising question coming from such a deeply personal source. You have to imagine, as the son of two absolute cultural icons, Ono Lennon has lived his entire life in the shadow of this massive legacy. He recently opened up about this responsibility and revealed that his whole perspective on it has changed dramatically over time. So let's dive into the shift in his thinking. He describes himself as a custodian, and, that role comes with a heavy concern. It's really a story of how a deeply held belief in something timeless had to confront a very fast-paced, very modern reality. And this right here perfectly illustrates his change of heart. Sean straight up admits he used to believe the Beatles' music was this unshakable cultural pillar, something so strong it would last forever all on its own. His new reality? It's a wake-up call that even the strongest pillars can crumble without active, conscious effort to preserve them for new generations. It's no longer a given. So what's driving this? Well, according to Sean, it boils down to two things. First, simple generational change. New listeners, new sounds, new tastes. And second, the just overwhelming speed of modern culture. There's just so much noise out there that even the most monumental art risks getting lost in the static. And this brings us to a really crucial point. Why does he care so much? I mean, this isn't just a job for him. His motivation is deeply personal. It's rooted in what he feels he owes his parents. It's about honoring a personal debt of gratitude. This slide captures his role perfectly. He calls himself a custodian, and that distinction is key. He's not trying to be a controller, but a protector. His whole goal is to safeguard the legacy and keep it accessible for the world, which is a subtle but pretty profound difference. At its very heart, this is his way of repaying a debt of gratitude. He sees promoting his parents' work and their ideals as the absolute best way to honor everything that they gave to him personally. Because what he's trying to preserve is so much more than just a collection of hit songs. We need to understand what's truly at stake if this legacy were to actually fade. For Sean, the platinum records and the screaming fans, that was just one part of the story. The real substance, the thing he's fighting to preserve, lies in the philosophy and the values that his parents championed through their art and through their lives. And this legacy is multifaceted. Of course, it includes the iconic songs, but it's also about their totally unique brand of activism, one that used humor instead of anger. And at the very core of it all, that simple but powerful message of peace and love. And this is why it all matters now. Sean firmly believes that this attitude, this approach to life that's grounded in peace and love, isn't some relic of the 60s. He sees it as incredibly relevant and, frankly, necessary in our often divided modern world. So as we start to wrap this up, let's zoom out. What started as a son's very personal mission to honor his parents really opens up a much larger, more universal question for all of us about the future of cultural memory. Sean's worry about the Beatles is really a symptom of a much bigger challenge. In a world of endless content streams and shrinking attention spans, how do we preserve any cultural history? The same forces that could threaten the Beatles could also threaten Shakespeare, or the roots of hip-hop, or any art that matters to us. And that leaves us with a final question. If a legacy as absolutely monumental as the Beatles needs a custodian, then who is the custodian for the culture that you care about most? It's something to think about. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.